Look, what I do to prevent this from happening is I roll on a dice app on my phone. Oh. I expected that to be really loud.
I got a 16.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with Hoppocalypse and
Roll the die for the fact of the sharks. I rolled 4. Where is it? I just gotta scroll up. Boop. Oh, I knew this one. Shark skin feels like sandpaper. Feels similar to sandpaper. Shark skin feels exactly... Wait, is it similar or exactly? Like sandpaper because it's made up of tiny teeth-like structures called plactoid scales. They are also known as dermal denticles. I don't know if I pronounced that word right. These scales point upward towards the tail and help reduce friction from the surrounding water when the shark swims. I heard about this because I don't remember what I was reading or something, but when you are like when I forget what they're called, like not shark trainers, but like people who work with sharks and stuff, they have to wear special gloves, like when they gotta like do work on them so they don't slice their hand up.
Oh, like the people that do all the tagging and stuff for sharks?
I think so.
Yeah.
The only other thing I really wanted to read, because I didn't roll it, but it still cracks me up just reading this one, is that blue sharks are really blue. That's the other fact.
Thanks. I never once looked at the blue shark and went, "You're lying to me. I bet you're actually purple."
The blue shark displays a brilliant blue color on the upper portion of its body and is normally snowy white beneath. The mako and porbeagle sharks also exhibit blue coloration, but is not as nearly as brilliant as that of a blue shark. In life, most sharks are brown, olive, or gray.
Wait, what's a blue shark specifically?
I don't know.
Because I thought makos were blue, but they said no. Oh, this shark. This is a cute shark.
This one looks like a shark that would go to your Animal Crossing village and be super nervous.
Yeah. Their eyes are so big compared to the rest of them.
Mm-hmm. They also look like they're in a like perpetual state of shock. Like,
I like this.
Or
picture
no,
that
they're about to cry. They're just like, what happened? Yeah. Dude, that's like all it needs is like not to have pores, and then it's a Pixar character.
It really is. Okay, no, that is a fun fact. Good for blue sharks being actually blue.
Yeah. So. Showing these other lame sharks.
For anyone who isn't up to date on our series that we're watching through right now, we have been
like
watching we have been watching the Sharktopus films. Sharktopus is exactly what it sounds like. Half shark, half octopus. Does it make sense? No. Does it crawl on land a lot? Yes.
Especially in this one.
My favorite scene is the gang fight where he's like, surprise.
Oh yeah. He's Batman.
He's Batman the shark. But yeah, so surprisingly, whether you believe it or not, there are 3 in the series. There's regular Sharktopus that we have an episode on already. There's Sharktopus versus Terracuda, which we also already have an episode on. And to finish out the series, it's Sharktopus versus Whalewolf.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say, out of all the movies, this one is definitely the one where they went, you know what? We know what we are, and we're going to lean in so heavily to it. Not enough monster fights, in my opinion, though, once again.
Yeah, this one felt much more the humans were reacting. But, like, I think as we were saying last episode, there's, like, B tier... Is it B movies? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
low-budget film.
Yeah, like, Casper Van Dien is, like a big name in the B movie area. Like, he was in Star Trek Troopers, and then it seems like he just does movies. He's like, whatever, I can make a little bit, but he's just there to have fun.
Not take it too seriously. Yeah, this movie definitely doesn't take itself very seriously. It really lends into the, what did you say? And they're like, oh, this is what we said. I will say, I was mentioning to Itisdpayne before that If you do choose to watch these films, the first two were just like, the first one was clearly trying to be a little bit more serious than all of them. The second one is a little bit out there because some of the characters in that don't feel like people.
This one's all camp.
This one's all camp. And also a warning, I know I hated Predator 2 because of the depiction of like voodoo and the use of it. This movie really leans into voodoo, and it also feels like this doesn't sound right. This doesn't feel right. But I think the big difference is in Predator 2 that movie villainized them, I guess. And in this movie, they kind of villains.
It's more like just a plot device.
Yeah, a plot device, but they do make him out to be unlikable.
Yeah. I think I was reading, I don't know if it was like trivia for the first or second Sharktopus, but the Sharktopus is like a Caribbean like folklore creature.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like it sort of fits.
But well,
it's
the voodoo, the quote unquote voodoo priest in this one, he doesn't say that he knows about it through lore. He says it's internet famous.
Yes, he hears it through the internet. And it's just, well, we'll get into it when we get there, but it's just like, if it honestly, because like I was scrolling through here and I was like, wait a second, there was, and the first trivia point on the IMDb is Sharktopus 4 was announced on the credits.
Well, yeah,
and they set it up.
Yeah, they end this one in the way that they end the second one. I don't know. Did a fourth ever get released?
I don't think so. Sharktopus, that's 5.
Yeah, because otherwise these came out in...
They came out back to back to back.
Oh, wait. Sharktopus is from 2010. Sharktopus versus
and then it's
Terracuda.
14 and 15, right?
Yeah, 14. Sharktopus versus Whalewolf was on 2015. And it seems to stop there.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Oh, Sharknado. Oh, they came out. I remember that. Sharknado week.
Oh, it premiered the same week as Sharknado.
Yeah,
I did watch Piranhaconda. I did enjoy Piranhaconda as well.
I do not see... Okay, hold on. We gotta take a screenshot of that and send it to you because this is just funny looking.
Yeah, I didn't see anything official regarding anything after Whalewolf.
Yeah, so... Oh, well, here, hold on. First, let me... I think this can be used if you want to make a thumbnail.
I haven't made some in a little while. But like
this is okay.
That's very good for the movie.
But yeah, so while I get the other thing I was gonna send you. Yeah, I'm not seeing really anything either. This just made me laugh.
Yes, but as Itisdpayne mentioned, for anyone who is an audio it's evildoer. For anyone who's an audio listener, we have been uploading these to YouTube as well. So if that is a preferred medium for you to watch / listen to podcasts, and I guess it is kind of a different flavor where we emote and react and we make faces and we try our best to verbalize it, but we don't always remember.
Oh my goodness. I was looking up Sharknado 4, and then apparently there's a Resident Evil 4 mod called Sharktopus. Oh, okay. That's not as fun as I thought it was going to be.
It's not what you were hoping for?
I was hoping that it makes sense for in Resident Evil 4 game. Like the first major boss that you fight is a giant like lake creature. And it looks like this one, they just made it Sharktopus. Yep, there he is. So
it's nice to know that it's not just me who indulges in these type of movies. I mean, there have to be people watching them because that average IMDb rating for all three of these is what? 3.1? 3.2? What was Sharktopus versus Whalewolf?
I thought that was a 3.2.
Is that the highest of the three?
I can't remember.
Yeah, this is a 3.2. Sharktopus versus...
Oh my god. Okay, well, I have some more fun trivia things that are on here. So, that I just saw. I'm the one with the fun trivia this time.
Oh,
mainly
okay.
because I just clicked the Sharknado versus Whalewolf trivia on the IMDb. There's spoilers. There's only 3 of them. So yeah. I guess if you guys are new and this is your first episode, well, we'll figure out if we want to say we're sorry or thank you for listening later. But yeah, this is going to be the last episode, and then pretty much after that, we'll share what we're doing. It feels really weird for us to say this, what we're doing for Christmas.
We are filming quite a bit ahead of time just so that we can have time off for the holidays, and that's what you should do too. If you're a content creator who makes what do you call it?
Way too much stuff.
Well, there's that, but the kind of content that you can pre-plan, like you pre-do.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're not live streaming, there we go. I think what they call this is batch content. To do it all ahead of time so
Yes.
that when you want time to yourself, you don't have to be like, oh, dinner was great, I gotta run home and record things.
We learned that our first week, or not first week, our first year. And it was really good, mainly due to the fact that COVID was going on.
It did make it really easy.
It made it easy.
Yeah.
But then I also remember, I think it was the first year where we got close to this, and it was like, people were like, yeah, COVID's bad, I'm going to go see my family.
Mm-hmm.
And to where we're like, oh, well, we've been living in our happy introvert paradise for a while. And so I'll admit, there's many times when I have to leave early in the morning. And I was like, yeah, I kind of liked it when everyone was in lockdown because I wasn't expected to go anywhere.
Yeah, I remember I had to like go into the office during a lot of the pandemic. No, the first 6 months I was on a project to work from home, but when I had to start going back in, I was like, wow, there's no traffic, there's no cars, everybody's home. And then eventually, like, I went to the airport one time to work travel, and I was like, there's a line at security. People are allowed out.
Yeah, that was because I didn't go into lockdown because, well, I couldn't do my work from home.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I think Hop is also one of the only other people, and I hope, like, after I say this, he's just like, well, is one of the only few people that I know that also never got COVID.
Yeah, I mean, I had gotten a cold not too long ago. I think it was October of this year or end of September, because I remember I actually felt like a cold, but I never got a fever. I didn't get the shakes. I didn't lose my sense of taste. And I tested for COVID like 3 days in a row, even though and then when the symptoms leveled out, I still was negative, and I was like, it's not getting worse, so I guess it's a cold.
Yes, I also want to say for anyone watching the video, the sun decided to come out right as we hit record.
Just for you. It's still pretty cloudy, and like it looks like it's about to rain for me.
But if you guys are only audio listeners, I have the skin tone of an uncooked squid.
Gross.
That's not true. They are like pure white. I'm pink and I reflect light a lot. So like if I turn a certain way, it's just like
You're just lost. Yeah.
So all you can see is my eyes. It's the very opposite of the picture we were looking at. But
yes. So are you?
Yeah, I don't remember what we were talking about, but yeah, let's roll.
We were rambling a little bit as we do in the openings to a lot of these, but yes, we will
rambling.
I pre-rolled my dice, so I have a feeling I know how this is going to turn out. But we roll dice to see who gets to take away and talk about the plot of the movie, so that the other one of us gets to sit back and just interject at things.
I know what I should do to make sure that my dice doesn't go rolling across the floor. Hold up.
So what I do to prevent this from happening is I roll on a dice app on my phone. Oh. I expected that to be really loud.
I got a 16. I think.
Is that a...
Oh, it moved. Is
right.
it what? Sorry.
Your mic cut it out. I was surprised. I was expecting a loud dong noise from rolling a dice in a walk.
Don't worry. I think it's on Audacity.
Oh, sorry, headphone listeners.
Oh, man.
But my phone app, at first I rolled an 18. And I was like, maybe it's just bad RNG because I rolled 18 last time that we spoke. So I rolled it again. And I was like, have a 19. So I think I'm stuck talking about the plot today. Because
I can roll it again. Let's see.
Yeah, because I know sometimes on like digital rolling things, the RNG really isn't there, so it kind of gets stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like Roll20 will run into it. Are we doing a roll off?
I did the same thing as you, but in the opposite way. I went lower.
I got a 2 that time.
Oh. Well, like if I rolled a third time, I got a 6. Haha! I just realized I moved my head and the game I kickstarted came in. There. Here, I'll bring it up.
Hello, game.
Not so neighborly.
Oh, it looks cute.
They, so the way I heard of them is that, well, when I was leaving PAX Unplugged last year, I saw them filming a TikTok, and I was like, cool. And then they showed up on my TikTok, like, consistently. And so I looked up the game and was like, you know what? This looks like a fun game. And so they're actually going to have a booth. So, yeah.
Fun.
So, I helped contribute. I even got this. Because it was only a couple dollars more. I got a big tote bag. We're not sponsored by them, but I just like the art.
That is very cute.
So.
I like it. Yeah, I was going to say, I recently got a game that I don't think it was Kickstarter, but it was like another crowdfunding site. Have you seen the webcomic? Oh my goodness. I don't remember what she named her webcomic. But the artist is Sarah Anderson.
Oh, yes. I know of her. Well, I've seen her comics, yeah.
Yeah, so... she released a board game about how well can you procrastinate important things that you have to do. So I kickstarted, and then I didn't realize the edition I funded has like a fuzzy blanket on the cover of the box, because you know a lot of her art has like fuzzy stuff or like wrapped in blankets. So it had a sleeve, and we were like, why is this sleeve so hard to get off of this box? And it had a fuzzy blanket. We are like, oh, the sleeve was getting stuck to the fuzzies. But
yes.
So who do we want to say won the roll off and gets to talk about this movie?
You won. You rolled.
Okay.
You rolled the majority higher than me. The last one was just for fun.
All right. So now we're gonna.
Also, I fell asleep in the.
I kind of did here and there.
It was more at the end, and then I was like, okay, I didn't really miss anything.
No, so. I am apologizing for yawning through this episode. It's not that this movie is boring. It's that daylight savings ruins me. It doesn't matter what direction we're going in.
You started to say daylight savings, and I thought you were going to be like, it's not the movie is boring, but Itisdpayne is.
But so this movie kind of, at first I wrote acts, but I don't think acts make sense for this movie. It's more like we have 3 plot lines that are branched and then keep like interweaving in and out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll just I guess, so our first branch of stuff we have, I called him Drunk Guy. I think his name is Ray. And he's like a white guy in the Dominican Republic who is always drunk, has an ex-lover who is working at the police office. I don't remember her name.
Nita Morales.
Okay, Nita. And then there's Pablo, who is the drunk man's right-hand man. And they have a boat. It opens up with them renting out the boat for a funeral and him coming out like the rudest person you can imagine. Who are all these people on my boat? Like, he couldn't even be quiet for a funeral. And then Sharktopus appears very early on, where they lower the casket and Sharktopus just like starts to eat it, like eating a piece of cake from the side. Like, it was so messy, and he didn't even get the guy on the inside. So to which the widow of the guy that's in the casket jumped in to save him, ? You know, he's already dead, but what do I know? And then she gets attacked by Sharktopus.
She has a name.
Did they say
Widow.
the name in the movie?
In the IMDb, it's just Widow.
Oh. So then...
She has a picture. Is she like a big, or like an actress in this scene? I'm curious. Anyone that has a picture... Wow, they actually have a bunch of... That Widow's in a whole bunch of stuff. Like from 2011... she started off in a Pitbull music video and now is going into Chocolate City 3.
Nice. You love to see an
Never
actor
heard
with
of it.
consistent work.
It's a lot of Spanish films, it looks like.
Okay. So she ends up dying, and the drunk man wakes up, and his ex-lover is like, "You're in here for manslaughter." And he's like... And I was so confused at that concept, because there were like 10 other witnesses that can say it was a shark creature that killed her, and not this drunk man. But then he starts joking with her, like, "Hey, you're gonna get me out, blah, blah, blah. You know you still love me." Awkwardness.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have it cut to the second branch.
Before we get there real quick, there was only a few things I wanted to say. Was that Sharktopus is making up for lost time in that second movie by just eating whoever he can.
No, yeah, not even a second thought. And
Yeah,
so
he's
are
just
we
like,
also
boom.
supposed to assume it's the same exact one from the second movie? I guess. Because
Yes.
he reappears at the end of 2.
I believe it's the same one. At least that's what That
was my assumption.
That is the canon in my head. I didn't see any egg sacs
Getting cut open by marine biologists.
The other thing is that I would like to mention for anyone that hasn't watched these movies is that the news reporter from the second film is the Inspector Nita Morales in the third film.
The tough tootin' cop lady.
And boy, did her acting get way better when it feels like she actually has a role that is written.
Yeah, I'm sure this is more of a direction thing. Like, hey, this is what we want you to be. And then she could actually act versus just be a reporter who, like, uses her body to get news stuff. Because that's kind of the same writing they had for the reporter in the first movie.
Yeah, it feels like in the second one it was dialed up a little bit more.
A lot. Like the first movie, she like used her body like maybe like 10% of the time, and then in the second movie, that reporter was like, "I only know how to boobs. I know nothing else about personality."
Yeah, and then the only other thing that I think is worth mentioning is this movie somehow it has a bigger budget. Like the cameras aren't shaking.
Oh yeah, you don't feel like you're on a boat while characters are talking.
You don't feel like you're on a boat when you're on land. But like there's, for the most part, like the camera quality is a lot better. Sharktopus's like model is like, you can see it on the IMDb. He is glistening.
He's so shiny in this movie. I
I
get that
know.
he's supposed to be wet all the time.
Or sweaty.
The idea of a shark sweating is so weird to me, because we just got the shark fact that they're covered in like saw paper. I was like, there's nowhere for them to sweat unless it's out of the pointy bits on their skin.
Oh, I just found the Japanese movie poster. That's a fun looking thing. Yeah, I'll just send it to you. But yeah, it's for some reason this one seemed to get a little bit more. I don't know the difference between
the investors or the producers.
Yeah. So it also seems like this one didn't take 3 years to make. So
it does seem like they knew what they were doing from beginning to end. So they were probably just like, these are the shots we need. Get them. We're done.
Yeah, it definitely. I agree. It feels like they learned everything that was like terrible that they were doing in the second one, and then they're like, okay, boom, streamline it. We can film this like in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I was surprised how fast some movies are. I was watching an interview, I think it was, with Daniel Radcliffe, and he was talking about how long it took for some of his movies. I think he said his Weird Al biopic thing that they did, which is in itself a spoof off of Funny or Die sketch, which I learned. But they filmed that in like 20 some odd days, I think he had said.
Yeah, some of those movies, like, if they don't have super complex sets and all that, like, you can really film pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. Also, especially since digital recording is like and space and like you don't need film and all.
Yeah,
all
you don't
stuff.
have to keep like pausing, like, oh, we gotta replace the reel and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Yeah, and editing is probably faster as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Anyway, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, are those last bits you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, because the next line I have is for the next little section.
Yeah, so the other branching storyline we have is revolving around this German scientist woman who has decided to open up a clinic in the Dominican Republic, which is where all of this takes place. And in the clinic, she promises a number of things. She promises, like, plastic surgery. She promises a retired baseball player that she can make him things that are undetectable by traditional steroid checking tests. And then, but her ultimate goal is to splice DNA to make people perfect.
Perfect.
Yes, if this
Heavy
doesn't...
accent.
Yeah, very strong accent. Very Nazi in terms of, you know, DNA, perfect people, the dream race. And I was like, that's why they did a German scientist. They're really leaning in on it.
Yeah. Oh, man. She, I don't know. She's unique.
Unique's a word for it. And then she has a nursing assistant that gets an important role later. But the nursing assistant is dressed very much in the nursing outfit you see people wear in explicit adult films. Mm-hmm. And that's what she's running around in.
I think I made a note, like, did I write this? I'm trying to... I don't see it, but I think... I can't remember if I wrote it. It's just like, wait, that's the uniform? I'm like, okay.
Wait a second.
Like, that's the problem with some of these movies, like, for... Not so much the first one, I felt like, but, like, 2 and 3 of the Sharktopus series. It was hard to write notes because it's like, I wanted to write something down, but then, like, as I'm writing this down on my phone, 5 other things happen that are way more, like, interesting to note than what I'm writing.
This one felt even more fast-paced than the second one. The second one had some lulls for the story to kick in, but this one had a lot of, like, just a lot happening all the time. It was a very compressed hour and a half, I gotta say.
I think that's also why I felt this one was a little bit more enjoyable, because it was just like it was just like boom, like we know what we're here for. Just hit the high beats. Like, I think if I watched this without watching the other two, I would not have had as much like fun with this.
That's fair.
Because like this point it was like, all right,
yeah,
I know what I'm in for.
The expectations here are different. Yeah,
it gets lowered every film.
Yeah, they're just like, let's stop writing a real script and just go in on this. But yeah,
I feel like this one is the most real script out of all of them.
Yes, it's just like the acting choices and the scene choices. You're like, oh, they did this on purpose. It's not like they accidentally made something funny like the first one feels like. This one feels like they were like, you know what would be ridiculous? Let's do it. But let's see. Oh yes, so then we get introduced more to this ex-baseball player. He tries to hit on women at the bar, is very narcissistic, and then women make fun of him. He gets punched in the face, and then
he gets rocked. Like, and it's just he's like, I'm the best baseball player, and then it's like the bartender's like, just
all the way. He's like passed out. Yeah.
Yeah. I even made a note and it was just, where'd it go? It was like, that bartender just punched that sucker out. He just sucker punched him, and he's gone.
Yes.
It's the angel shot. I've been hearing about that on TikTok.
So then we have the two drunks end up running into the cop for some reason. Like, the cop is like, do you guys want to ride home? And they're like, oh, well, no, we're not into women's. And she's like, no, I'm an officer. And the girl's like, I'm going to go pee in the bushes. And then Nita is like, that's public indecency. Don't pee in the bushes. And Sharktopus does not hesitate.
Yeah.
He picks up one drunk lady, and the other drunk lady's like, what's happening? And he picks her up, and then, like you would make dolls kiss as a kid, you just keep slamming him into
He played with them like a toddler playing with action figures.
Yes. You know how the toddler's like, this person doesn't like this person, so they do this.
Yes. It's like, why aren't you kissing?
Me when I watch movies.
But a lot more violent. Yeah, it was. I made, as I wrote, it was like, how was that? Okay, so pretty much, how was Sharktopus smashing two women together? Wow, I can tell I wrote this when I was tired. How did Sharktopus like smashing? That's not a good word. Knocking these two women together get classified as just a shark attack.
Yeah, she's
because
like,
that's what it gets called in.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know the code for shark. Just call it in. And
Yep.
she's doing cop things or whatever. And then we cut back to the German scientist because the baseball player is like, give me the juice. I need it. And they walk into the most expensive lab they've had in any of the movies, where she has like a whale skeleton in the ceiling hanging up there and all this imaging stuff. She has videos of her talking about her experiments and her goals. She decides to go, fine, let's jump into it. And what's her speech? It's like, whales have increased lung capacity. Why wolf? I don't remember why she said wolf DNA.
I don't remember. I can't remember exactly, because there's a scene in here. There's a shot in this scene that just made me forget about everything she says.
Yes, and then she basically says, we've tailored animal DNA to your DNA to make you the ultimate baseball player. And then he screams.
Yeah, he screamed, and it doesn't. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. This is like a start of a Power Ranger movie.
With the zooming flashbacks.
Yeah, and then like, oh yes, we're giving you what you want, but it's not really what you want.
Yeah, because I wrote that he has flashbacks of his career and his like high points of his career, and then also animals, because there's like the snarling wolf and then the whale and then his career. But
And they all become one.
Yes, but oh no, he died. This point, I got really confused at what I had to rewind the scene a few times when she goes to dump his body after the experiment.
Oh yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, but that's not what I was saying. That made me forget about the whole scene. But so,
are we there yet or no?
I can go back to it. It's not like a huge thing, so we can finish what we're talking about right now.
Okay. So yes, the German scientist is like, oh no, you're dead. I'm going to go to this dock where apparently no people are ever at this dock on an island nation. And he's wrapped like, it looks like 4 layers of plastic with rope tied around him. And she drags the body down. And I'm sure they did that because they gave her a dummy prop, because dragging a man is very heavy. So she kicks it into the water. And then in the water, he is no plastic covering. He is just man. He's
free.
Yes, he is free. And then he transforms. Whalewolf.
Yes. And then what was it? Yeah. And the one line was like, "This scientist lady is not great to like." I was not jiving with like the way the actress like inflected. Like, I was like, okay, this is way over the top, but that's not what I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Because like as they're showing her little office room, it cuts to a scene of her having 2 framed pictures of the scientists from the first and second film.
Yeah, I didn't catch that at first, but then they bring it up later.
Yeah, no, like she has them. She has Hey Pumpkin. He's in a frame, and just like it's like just their headshot, and then it has like, I'm the greatest gift to mankind.
Don't send me to jail.
Yeah, and it's just their 2 headshots just looking proud on this empty void wall. It's just them. And she's just like, the ones who taught me everything I know. And it's just like, and so what made me wonder was like, was this character in any of the other movies? Like, was she in the like
background scenes?
In the beginning when they're in the thing, and it doesn't say it, because like I think she's also a pretty big name in the B movie
Gotcha.
arena.
Yeah, and then I think I started to write notes a little bit out of order, because in this section I said this is the intro, and since it's like branching stuff, I kind of just started putting stuff in sections with each other. So since it doesn't really affect the order of anything else, I'll read out these other notes. Yeah, he's a whalewolf. There was a full moon shown, and then they cut back to her office at some point, and he's standing there, and he has like webbed hands and like a flipper or a fin on his back. And she's just like, uh-oh, is baby hungry? Have my neck and digest me. And because nothing else satiates him. I was like, okay. And then she forces it, and then he listens to her like he's a literal dog. Like, she says sit and all that stuff, and she draws blood from him and goes, oh no, all your human DNA is deteriorating. At this point, you'll be full whatever creature you are. And she's like, I wonder why the full moon works on you. Oh, whales rely on tides, so the moon. And she shouts, why not? I was like, what a loose string of things.
Yeah. To be honest, though, I would have watched that creature try to play baseball. I think that would have been a real fun movie.
That would sell a lot of tickets. He'd be really famous again.
Yeah. I think it would just also be a way more interesting movie of how they were going to try to get this creature because I think he was like a pitcher or something like that. I don't remember what he was.
I don't recall either.
So yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah. So then the other plot line, like I talked about, well, I guess it's really only 2 plot lines. I guess the third plot line is really just the monsters for some reason are mad at each other, and they try to explain it a little bit later. But yeah, so we go back to Drunk Man. And Drunk Man finds out that he was let out on bail, but by someone that he doesn't want to interact with. And his buddy Pablo is like, don't worry, I'll get to hit on his sister. And in the taxi cab, he's like, don't hit on his sister. And then we meet a guy who's like Francois Tiny or something like that is his name. And he's the voodoo priest that I said, like, that whole like shtick is like, it feels weird because they lean into it really hard.
I'm looking up this
name.
Yeah, so I was looking up right now. There's a character named Harita, but I don't think that's it. Look at all cast and crew and see if I can. Chief Tiny's henchman.
So Tiny is the name that they generally go with.
Yeah, but there's Francois Tiny. His last name's Tiny.
No, Francois.
Okay, yes.
Yes. And then they like go back and forth with talking about how the cop hates both of them, the drunk guy and Tiny. And then Tiny's like, you know what you're gonna do for me as payback for bailing you out of jail? And Drunk Man's like, oh no, what is it? And he's like, go get me the heart of Sharktopus. And they're like, okay, I don't want to. And he's like, yeah, you don't have an option. I'm gonna make you. And they like laugh it away and try and fake it. Like, they go on their boat and they start planning the expedition, trying to figure it out. And then Nito shows up and she goes, I need to kill it. I am a tough tootin' cop. I'm gonna kill the Sharktopus because it's killing people. And Drunk Man is like, whatever you say. And then there's a whole lot of awkward flirting on the boat. And
there's one thing I wanted to mention before that. Actually, finish your thought, and then there's something I wanted to go back to.
Yeah, I was gonna say the thing that bothered me most is they have some really weird footage shots, like her starting the boat. Did you notice that looked like it was from like the 80s compared to the rest of the movie? I was like, where did they get that stock footage from?
The second film.
But I'll pause there because after this, then we get to bring in Sharktopus back. So what do you want to go back to?
So there's a few things that I wrote. Now I just gotta find. Oh, where'd it go? Where did the note go? Oh yeah. I don't think we talked about the nurse lady, right?
Just her introduction. I didn't talk about her major scene. Because
mine are in order.
She does come. No, I didn't get to the part yet where. Yeah, the nurse does come back.
Nurse comes back.
Checks on the German scientist.
And that's because that's when we find out, like, well, not fully find out, but it's just like, oh yeah, that's right, because he's like, no, it's a little bit later. But what I wrote, where'd it go? I just saw it in my notes. And then like I looked up and now it's gone.
Yeah, I swear we paid attention in the movie. The movie is just kind of a lot. It's very fast paced.
Oh, okay, I found it.
Okay.
Because I think it's the Tiny, he's talking about this because he's like, yeah, the internet sensation. And then he brings out he gives a timeline which shows that all three of these movies happen within the same year.
Yeah, it's very short-lived.
It's like, yeah, because like the first Sharktopus attack happens, and then they're like, yeah, and then 6 months ago is when we had when the stuff in whatever, I don't know,
beach resort thingy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember exactly what they said, but yeah,
it does make a reappearance in this movie.
Yeah, some things shouldn't. But yeah, it's, and then oh wait, and then as you said, the other funny thing that was cracking me up was when I forget his name, Ray, Pablo, and Nita all leave. They're getting a shot, which it's not a terrible shot, of the boat driving through the harbor. Mm-hmm. Until you look in the lower left-hand corner and you can see the waves from the engine of the boat that they're filming on.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. That's really funny.
I looked over and it's just like, that water doesn't move like that naturally unless it's being propelled by a
starting up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's not a bad shot, and it's just like it's like, it's not even like movie breaking, but it's just me just sitting there and just like, I see this.
I caught you guys. You can't trick me.
Yep. I'm smart.
Yeah. So then after they pull away from the harbor is when we get another Sharktopus encounter. I gotta say, the plot armor in this movie is pretty heavy because they're like kind of poking at it, kind of shooting at it, all in the wrong direction, and somehow it's like how you said at the towards the end of the second movie where you can tell they don't know where the creature is supposed to be in post. And then you can also tell that it feels like the creature is like playing on like a slow down boss battle that gives you a chance to get out of the way, because he's like, oh no, I missed my bite, let me bite again.
Yeah, I wrote, Sharktopus traded speed for shiny.
Yes.
He lowered his speed stat so he can be shiny.
Yeah, I wrote, don't worry, they're good at dodging shark bites, but not dodging tentacles. Because, oh no, Nita gets swept off the boat and into standing water, because they're like standing in the water when he tries to save her. But yes, then I wrote, we cut back to the nurse lady assistant, and they literally play music you would find in like an adult film, because they're like doing the va-va-voom kind of music as she's walking around for a very long time. There's some
interesting music choices in this.
Yeah, and then this is like you said with the nurse. The nurse comes in and is like, scientist lady, I forget what her name is. Reinhardt. She's like, Reinhardt, take care of yourself. You can't work like this. You're too tired. She's like, tired? I've made a beautiful creation and he just needs some of my blood. And the nurse is like, what are you talking about? And then we have the full wolf reveal. Mm-hmm. Where he comes out and he's like, I want to eat this. And you have the longest set of slow motion in the entire movie. And I wrote, is there a lot of shots to this that are for just the male gaze? Yes. But is it hilarious? Double yes. What other comments did you have about the nurse?
She received a graphic death for doing her job.
Yeah, she was like, I'm here to be an assistant. Oh, take care of yourself, scientist. Oh no, Whalewolf.
Yeah, like, oh no. Awesome, man. They got a lot of, they got their money's worth out of that hallway. Like, yeah,
because she walked along it first, and then she did the slow-mo run away after. And then the Whalewolf is constantly in that part of the city. Which
constantly
makes
running
sense.
down there. Yeah, but it's like it's the same shot. Like they just redo the footage.
Yeah, redo the CGI for it.
Like later when it's like, Whalewolf, you get out of here, and he's just like, okie dokie, just runs away.
But he's basically, so I guess a description for if you don't want to look up the movie poster, a Whalewolf is apparently, imagine something running on 4 legs like a dog, but is like black and white like a orca whale, and then has an orca whale tail instead of a normal wolf tail, and then its face is not like either of the creatures. I guess it's mostly dog-like.
Yeah, it's dog-like, except it has like the whale skin.
Yeah.
It like the one of the art pictures I think we looked at, he looks more fuzzy than he actually is in the film.
Yeah. Like the zoomed in picture, he looked pretty fuzzy, but a lot
like
of
this
just looks.
This on the IMDb, the picture that they show like of the art is a lot more fuzzy. Yep. Boom. But
Sorry,
like
I sent a gif of like one of the monster fights. The monster fights were like kind of like whatever in this movie, unfortunately.
Yeah, like that was like the 5th plot point out of 3.
Yeah, because like the Terracuda fights were a little bit cooler, especially the lighthouse scene where Sharktopus picks up Terracuda and launches him into lighthouse. But these two kind of just like hug a lot and punch a lot.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I can't remember the reason why they are fighting.
I remember. I'll bring it up when it comes up. But yeah, so nurse lady assistant dies. And then German scientist lady makes a terrible joke saying like, "Oh, he just wanted the taste of brunette." And I was like, okay.
And guys, we're not making fun of accents. That's literally how she sounds. Like,
she's like, the most exaggerated German accent.
We're not exaggerating enough.
So yes, this is where I kind of called it Arc 2, where I said the monsters finally meet up. So while Nita gets knocked off the boat and we come back to Ray saving her, the only thing that keeps the two of them from getting attacked by Sharktopus is Whalewolf was on like a pier and saw Sharktopus and went, "I have to fight it." And they're like hugging it out under the surface of the water.
Mm-hmm.
And then we end up getting like a weird set of deaths throughout the movie at this point, because we have I think this is the same actress for that couple you hate from the second movie, who is like an old Hollywood star begging for plastic surgery.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can
confirm it or not.
Yeah.
So there's this lady who she goes to Tiny's place and he reads her future or whatever. And I forget what she gets told, but she tries to call and talk to her agent and say, like, "Hey, I should get a role as, like, a teenager in a horror film or whatever." And he's like, "No, that's real funny." And then Sharktopus comes and... No. Yes? Is it Sharktopus that attacks her or Whalewolf?
Trying to remember which one this was.
Yeah, but she ends up... Oh, no, it's Sharktopus.
Yeah, is this when they go on the set?
No. I kind of skipped ahead. I was just talking about the surgery lady because she, like, once she's dead, she doesn't come up anymore. So I figured if I'm going to introduce her, I'm just going to finish up her timeline because it's already over. But she ends up dying, and her agent is being mean and is like, "Wow, you can't even do a good scream for girls in horror movies. You should quit acting. You're an old lady." Yeah, so she dies like that. And then we have scripted...
I can't find it, so...
Oh, okay.
Then there's a lot of names with... there's
no
names,
pictures.
But then there's no pictures, and then you go to their Wikipedia page, and it's not... Or not Wikipedia, but their IMDb page, and they're just like, this isn't... At least this was easy with Akari Endo, the girlfriend of this movie, because it's just... She has like 5 movies, and it's just right there.
Stupid daylight savings. But yes, so then she dies, and then we cut back to Drunk Man and his friends, and they have like this really weird reunion where Drunk Man and Lady are like about to kiss, and then Pablo interrupts, and they start watching the scripted dating show. And Sharktopus is like, I have to be there. So then Sharktopus shows up, and like right before a girl's supposed to get her flowers, kind of like The Bachelor, Sharktopus is like, munch, and everyone is screaming. And I'm just gonna stick to the dating show for now, just because like it is a very succinct like plot point. Like it happens and then it's over.
Yeah. For anyone that's listening right now, as Hot was saying, all the plot points are mingled, but really it's all jumbled together, and really nothing happens in all these plot lines until like the last 20 minutes of the film.
Yeah. And these like side ones are just funny for like fun deaths, but otherwise don't really amount to the final plot. So instead of jumping back and forth all the time, I'm just gonna like do this. But yeah, so then there's the dating show, and all the girls are like, I don't want a flower, the flower is cursed, blah blah blah. And the producer for the show is like, no, it's fine, and like you as the audience are like, oh, Sharktopus is going to show up and eat them. Surprise, Whalewolf shows up and eats them. And the thing that made me laugh the most is the one girl, they're all bikini clad because for some reason when Sharktopus is involved, they're all in bikinis. But the one girl in her bikini pushes the other lady, and then she immediately gets eaten by Whalewolf. I just said to Strider, you don't have to be the fastest. You just have to not be the slowest.
Yeah.
So that's that weird little set of deaths that felt like filler.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was one of those things where I'm like, I wasn't expecting another dating show to show up on this series, and I wrote that, but now I'm like, I know there was like a dating show. Wasn't there like some sort of dating show in the second one, or was it the first one? I don't know. There was like something very similar.
I can't recall. Was there? I remember the only things I can remember are bikini-clad ladies running around. The first one has the resort. I don't remember there being a dating show in the other two. But there were people dating in the second one, and they made a big deal about them being
I'm trying
together.
to think of maybe there was, I don't know. I don't remember why I was like, wasn't expecting. Let's see if I can look at my phone and see if I can remember.
If you left any notes for yourself.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, it was just weird. Like that, like even the start of us watching it, it was just like, it felt like Sharktopus and Whalewolf were just doing what needed to be done, because I'm like, I know this show is like parody and jokes for this movie, but it's already annoying me.
Yeah, luckily it was pretty short. It felt like it went on forever, but in the grand scheme of the movie, it was pretty short.
Like, I'm not mad or annoyed at the like people, the actors that were filling their roles. It was just they made it feel like one of those terrible dating shows that I can't stand. And then I was like, you know what? I'm on Sharktopus's side right now.
Eat
like,
them, yes.
I would watch it if I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, the one guy was trying to milk it. He's like, ratings are up because we caught Sharktopus on film. Let's keep filming.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I think the people don't understand how recorded TV works. Because that's like, they say this multiple times, like, oh, Sharktopus is here and we got him live. The ratings is like, you're not live streaming.
This is gonna get edited and a whole bunch of stuff. It's gonna be months.
Your producer's like, oh man, that'd be good, but by the time that ends, it won't be cool to have Sharktopus eating your contestants. In fact, I'm pretty sure the show won't come out because of all the fees you gotta pay because your contestant that's under your insurance. Anyway. I don't want to talk about insurance.
Yeah, time to turn off being grown-ups and turn on the German scientist lady. We cut to her, and she's like interacting with the Whalewolf, and she keeps treating him like he's a normal dog. Like, but he like whines and like barks like a dog to interact with her.
He does it to himself.
Yeah, he does it to himself because she's like, "You're such a good boy. I got you dog treats, so you stop eating people." And like he drops his the nurse's hand at her feet and is like, "Play fetch." She's like, "I can't play. I'm busy. Here, you have to use a wee pad." And it's like 4 inches by 4 inches, and Whalewolf has to be like 10 to 15 feet long. Like, it's a big creature.
She is the worst kind of animal owner.
Yeah, and then at one point she's like, you know what, leave. I don't want you here. Go swimming and come back later. So he does run off and does his own thing, to which we have the weirdest cut in the whole movie of what was it? The cop lady swears that she's gonna go back on duty to deal with Sharktopus, and she's driving in a car with her other cop friend. They're like, I thought they were gonna go chase down the shark. I might have missed something, but it cuts to like a whole bunch of fighting in like an alleyway.
They get a call saying that there's a gang fight.
Oh, okay. I might have been slightly falling asleep at this point.
It's because like this is the whole part where the like drama, because it's like it's like a complete 180, because she's just like,
she's so serious.
Well, like she's like, yeah, alcohol, and then like Pablo comes in, ruins the whole vibe. And I'm just like, dude, Pablo confuses me, because he's like, it feels like he's rooting and trying to like encourage Ray to like pursue this relationship, but
and then tells them that they have a terrible relationship and like
relationship, and then every single step of the way I'm gonna just give him like, I don't know. It feels like he is unwittingly knowing that he's ruining that relationship.
Yeah, he keeps sitting between them and saying things that make each other mad.
Puts on the dating show, which is just like, and it's like, I don't know. It's like the most awkward thing, and it's just
and sits between them.
Yeah, I'm just like, what are you doing? And it's
you
like,
can't be this oblivious. Yeah.
No wonder Ray sticks you into the engine of the boat, because if this is how you act normally.
Yes. Speaking of the engine issue of the boat, I forgot to mention that they get threatened because they're like, oh, we can't do it, the boat's broken, blah blah blah, and they get threatened like, if you don't do this for Tiny, you're gonna have consequences. And they're like, oh, consequences? What possibly could they do to us?
Saturday morning cartoon consequences.
Yeah, we'll get there in a second. But then we have like all this like really expensive looking stunt fighting. To me, I was like, this looks like a good amount of the budget of them, because they actually look like they're trained stunt fighters and not just people pretending to swing at each other. And then the cops show up, and the guys are like, get out, get out. And there's like two guys injured on the floor, and they pan the camera up, and Sharktopus is hanging onto the ceiling. I was like, hello?
He just watched Batman. He's like, I don't wear hockey pads. And just comes down.
Yeah, he drops down onto them and starts eating them. And then the cop guy shows up. He's like, what is that? And she's like, I just keep shooting. I've seen it before. And then the guys running away from the gang fight are doing parkour, and Whalewolf starts eating them as they jump off of the wall. Then Whalewolf catches a sight of Sharktopus, and they start fighting again. And to the point where Sharktopus is like tries to crawl on the ceiling, and it's a good like 2 minutes of like comical music and them doing like speed punch bagging on the Sharktopus.
It's weird. It's so weird, because Sharktopus like feels like he's this giant intimidating force in the universe, and then you have like this slapstick humor of him being speed bag, like a routine done on him. Like he's just, I'm like, how did yes, I understand he's scary and all that, of like he can just appear and bite people's heads and stab them, but it's just like every single time we see him in the movie, it is like a slapstick comedy of him just getting beat up.
Yeah, like
also
like
go ahead.
Whalewolf doesn't have fists, but he uses his front to like dog paws as if they're fists.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what they did in baseball. The other thing that I'm glad that sticks through this whole movie, and so I just looked it up. The writer for Sharktopus versus Terracuda, and this movie is the same writer, and it's the only writer. So
I guess maybe they were trying to transition it to be more slapstick, because Terracuda felt like there were some points where they were trying to get there, but it really does seem like Whalewolf leans into it so much that you're kind of just like, is this in the same universe? This feels ridiculous.
Well, what I was gonna say is that the one thing that I find funny that sticks but true with both the second and third film is the complete and the lack of understanding of how gun ammo counts and shooting works.
Oh, absolutely.
Those guns never run out of ammo.
They shot at him like 20 times with both of their pistols, and then when they realize guns don't work and Whalewolf shows up, then they go shoot the gasoline barrels.
Yeah, it is a video game. Like he just finished playing, like, I don't know, Uncharted or something.
Yeah,
just
so
shoot the red.
There's explosions and they run out, and I said after this, There's a lot of time dedicated to using voodoo magic to make Drunk Man and Pablo decide to agree to go after Sharktopus finally.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like you said, it was like really goofy and like really weird.
Yeah, it was.
Like they really did show voodoo dolls and them like poking things and them laying on the floor screaming and rolling around. And I was like, okay, is it over yet?
Yeah.
No, not over yet.
It really feels like Casper Van Dien just signed up for this film just to like, he's like, I'm just here to have fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this role and go all the way, and everyone else on the crew was like, yeah, I'm gonna have fun with it too. But the actress for Nita is the only person that plays the whole movie like straight. Like, she has like no humor in her at all. She's like, I have this character and I'm gonna be this character. And Casper is like, you know what would be funny? If I like made weird oogly eyes when I get punched in the head. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Nita, it feels like
she feels like she's trying to be in a cop drama.
It feels like she was trying to be in a different film in general.
Yeah, because after the gang fight stuff, and we cut back to them continuing that plot line, she's using, they called it cyberseek in the film, and she's like, I can't find any information on Whalewolf. I was like, yeah, of course you can't. You're stuck using cyberseek. What year is this?
Yes. There's one thing I did want to mention about Sharktopus and Whalewolf's fights and like just interactions. Sharktopus is there to eat, it feels like. He is just there hunting, like,
he was repressed for so long. He was told you have to be a good boy. And now he's like, I can do whatever I want.
And now that he ate his human girlfriend, he can just go on a human bender and just eat them all. I don't know if that's the right term. But anyway, he goes and is doing all that. And then I feel like just Whalewolf is like, oh, another monstrosity? Let's go hang out. And he's like, what's up? And then like Sharktopus is like, has PTSD of Terracuda, and he's like, nope. Just starts...
he loves throwing things.
Yeah. I'm sad that there wasn't a lighthouse, but it's still like it feels like Sharktopus is like has past trauma of being attacked by some other monster. And it's just like it feels like the wolf part isn't what got their DNA put into this creature, but like just a dog. Just like a dog that wants to hang out. Just
wants friends, wants something to do, is super bored all the time. Yeah, because then let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, they find out more about the German scientist, about her lab, where it is, and that she's apparently on a no-fly list, and as Dpayne pointed out, worked at the laboratory that Sharktopus was created. I don't know why she knows the Terracuda guy, but I guess they're all part of the same lab. I don't remember them specifying that in the second movie.
I don't know, but she has both their pictures on her wall.
Very important people. So then they cut back to the drunk man. Sharktopus once again arrives to harass them, and once again is unable to kill them. But you know what they do get? They get a little chunk of tentacle that they're like, maybe this is enough to give Tiny so he doesn't want to kill us. So, let's see. And then German scientist lady is, while all this is happening, is trying to give up her poor giant dog creature to the local animal pound. And she's
while trying to get on a fly. She's trying to catch a flight.
Well, she said she's changing her name. She's changing her identity. And they were like, all right, what kind of dog is it? It's a mixed breed dog. All right, I just want to know how big the dog is. Big. And he's like, okay. She's like, it's fine. He likes people, preferably fresh people. He's like, ma'am, we have so many animals in this shelter. Can you bring them on the flight with you? She's like, ugh. And then Whalewolf is smart enough to recognize like adoption papers and finally decides like, I have had enough of this. She doesn't love me, and starts attacking the German scientist.
Well, she also ran out of treats.
And she ran out of treats, yes. And then they bring the tentacle over to Tiny, the drunk man, and they do the whole, there's a really long speech where he keeps using a word for rooster because he's like, oh yeah,
Oh yeah, I was like, what the heck is going on?
It was like so many long sexual innuendos, and they just kept going with it. I was like, okay, it's been 5 minutes of you using the same word. It doesn't sound like a real word anymore.
It's like, yeah, it definitely felt like as they were saying that word, it was just like, well, let's see what we can push past the TV rating system, and it's just like, no, we're talking about the chicken.
Rooster's fighting, and how much I take care of my rooster.
And it's just like, okay, yes. Middle schoolers. Yeah, as I wrote, my only note for that is, this guy really likes his chicken.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. So then we have the cops showing up to Reinhardt's lab to try and figure out what's going on with Whalewolf and get to the bottom of it. And then they find all the files, they learn about all the secrets, but before they can do that, the one cop guy does get attacked by Whalewolf, and drunk guy just so happens to try and call Nita, and then Nita's like, you gotta save me, we're dying out here, there's another creature. And they go and save her, and Pablo decides to just bonk the creature on the head a little bit before they steal all the information they need to get out.
Oh, yeah. Is this when he, like, the Whalewolf tail whips somebody to death?
Yeah, because they're like in the van that they're... Oh yeah, Tiny says that they have... Their punishment for not bringing him the Sharktopus heart is that they're banished from the island.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, drivers, can we make a pit stop? And they make this whole deal like, oh, she's at the clinic, is she pregnant? They're like, no. And they're like, oh, good for you, bud. But they still pull over, and Whalewolf like smashes a guy with his tail.
It's like, I think as I wrote, tail whip was extremely effective.
Yes, but again, the monsters show up and they do more fightings. And my last section is figuring out how to handle the monsters, and this section was ridiculous. Even more so than everything else. To summarize this, they go, Nita calls and is like, hey guys, what do we do, Secretary of Defense? And the Secretary of Defense is apparently like, we're going to drop an airstrike, just get both creatures to the same location. So they go, oh, you know who they made Whalewolf from? They made him from an ex-baseball player, and he's a jerkwad, so you know where he'd go, because he's a narcissist? Back to the baseball stadium. So they go and set up a whole, like, electrified net in order to catch Whalewolf and trap him. Meanwhile,
It's Jurassic Park.
I know. And then Drunk Man is like, okay, while you do that, I think Tiny made up a whole voodoo ritual to control Sharktopus. I'm going to go steal whatever it is he made and control Sharktopus and lure him to the same spot so they can both die. And he goes in and they're like bullying him and whatever. And I wrote, drunk guy really hit a nat 20 on his sleight of hand check because he puts like a Sharktopus like toy in place for what they put together. And then outside, he gets, like, surrounded by 6 guys. And I wrote, and he rolled a nat 20 on his combat checks because he, like, punches every single guy in the balls in order.
That's over a performance and over
check. Yeah. And then, what is it?
What do you call it? It was, like...
the drunk kung fu thing.
Voodoo.
Because he was pretending to be extra drunk versus, like, regular drunk.
Yeah.
And... the voodoo ends up working on Sharktopus because they end up in the sewers, and the Tiny tries to corner him, and Sharktopus shows up and eats the voodoo guy, Tiny, and the main drunk guy's like, all right, I'm just gonna keep running forever until we make it to the stadium, because he's following him.
Yeah.
And that's where we find out they're in the same aquarium as the second movie.
Oh, they were.
Because they have the shot where it's like in the mall and it's got the tube walkway thingy.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that the whatever it was. I didn't realize that in the second movie the aquarium was connected to a mall.
Yeah, they just show the part that's like the entrance to the mall where it's like an aquarium to your left and right, and there's like an aquarium bit at the top. But they use the same location for that. And then back at the baseball stadium, you have Cop Lady, who has like body cam footage on like her arms at one point, is like going through rooms looking for a Whalewolf, and he's like drinking out of one of those I don't know, some giant tub thing, and they're like, all right, catch me if you can, that same kind of crap.
Yeah. And they trap him.
And they do this scene is my favorite fight scene between Sharktopus and Whalewolf, because they're moving at like 2 times speed, and Sharktopus's little legs are like his little tentacle legs are running so fast.
And then he just gets jobbed.
I know. So the two of them duke it out again, and Whalewolf throws him, and he throws him into the electrical net. And I wrote, the net works, and he disintegrated. He just starts disappearing, like Thanos snapped his fingers.
He just becomes ash instantly, charcoal and ash, and he's just like, well, now you just got to get rid of the other one.
Mm-hmm. And then they start to distract, since they lost Sharktopus, they're like, what do we do? So then they have a pitching machine to try and play fetch with Whalewolf to keep him distracted until their airstrike shows up. And then it does show up, and they run away really fast, and there's explosions, and then they kiss, which is the first kiss to happen in all 3 movies. And then after that, they really exploit the whole voodoo theme, and another Sharktopus is born.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was, because in the first time they're in the baseball field, Pablo turns off a part, like he turns off something else.
He's like I think he's trying to rechannel the energy from the lights into the net he's setting up.
But I'm trying to remember, because he gets yelled at by them. He's like, you turned off the wrong thing. You turned off the wrong thing. He's just like,
Oh, he turned off the power in the building, I think.
Yeah.
And the thing that confused me is there were people locked into the stadium when they first get there. I just remembered that. Because they get in and they lift a gate and like a crowd of people leave, and then they shut the gate again.
Yeah, I don't think about that. Let's see. Did I have anything else written down here?
This movie is kind of short and sweet and to the point. I will give it that much.
Yeah. As I wrote, my final note here is it was a pretty lame fight. But, this whole movie wasn't so much Sharktopus versus Whalewolf. It was more like humans just trying to stop them. Mm-hmm. It was much more from the human perspective than the other films. It still had little bits and pieces, but it's I don't know. It feels weird to have 2 aquatic creatures not fight in the water.
They only fought in the water once. Mm-hmm. In the very beginning, when Nita falls into the water and Whalewolf dives in to attack Sharktopus. But yeah, overall as a movie, it's fun.
Mm-hmm. So, you want to know my 2 trivia things that I found? The first one I already shared was Sharktopus 4 was announced on the credits.
Okay.
So, the second one here is Casper Van Dien, who played Ray. Mm-hmm. Which this wasn't... as I'm reading this, I thought I was reading the other one, but it's this wasn't all that big of a surprise. But he was playing homage to Chief Brody. Captain Brady was the name of Casper's character in this. Chief Brody in the Jaws franchise, and it's both of them have to deal with sharks. I'm okay. The names are similar, but this is what I find a way more awkward. Is that Casper Van Dien divorced his wife, Catherine Oxenberg, the German scientist, Dr. Elsa Reinhardt. They were married. They divorced the year this was made, and Casper got married. Went on to marry Nurse Betty, the one that gets eaten in the beginning.
That girl's half of the German scientist lady's age. She looks so much younger. Ew, wait.
Yeah.
Ew.
Is that a picture of them together? Yeah, that's a picture of them together.
Jennifer Wagner.
Wagner. Yeah, she doesn't have her age on here oh wait, maybe in the full bio. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, it just says on her IMDb that she moved out to LA when she was 19.
Yeah, they got married and they're still married.
says they got married in 2018.
Yeah. I guess that's where they met. But I'm looking and it's just like.
So the lady who played Catherine Oxenberg, she is 61 right now. Casper is 53. And if I had to guess how old the Jennifer Wanger lady is, let me look at her recent Instagram.
She's still doing acting. Let's see. What if we just look her name up?
Like, I don't think... I don't know. I can't tell with Hollywood stars anymore either, because they get really good professional people to make them look good.
According to this site, she was born in 1983, so this year she's 38 years old.
And he's 53.
This sounds very much like my brother telling me of his current girlfriend, her friend, who she's dating. Sorry, that came out wrong. His girlfriend's best friend. Did I say that right? His girlfriend's best friend is dating somebody who is like 46 years old, and apparently it's not going well. That's not what we're here to talk about. But she is like 27, 26, and I'm like, how do people even like meet like that? I don't get it.
I'm not gonna ask questions.
Yeah.
Everyone can lead their own lives. But in any cases, do you have any final words about Sharktopus versus... Sorry, I got distracted because I went to Casper Van Dien's Instagram, and it's a lot of B movies, and then he still has like fan arts of him in Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
I'm like, sir, it's been a while.
Well, that built his career. But yeah, I will say overall this was, as I said in the beginning, I think I enjoyed this movie a whole lot because of a whole lot makes it sound like this is one of my favorite movies. I think I enjoyed this movie more than I enjoyed like overall because of just I got the thing you were just telling me about where someone put an Elon Musk tweet and it's definitely not him.
Oh.
And yeah, it feels like I don't think I would have had as much fun in this movie if I didn't watch the whole trilogy.
The rest of the series. Yeah, that's fair.
I do think it was fun to get like a breath of fresh air, and I also think just due to our scheduling, watching all three of these pretty much back to back to back also really helped, because I don't think I would have enjoyed it the same way if I had to wait another week
and try to remember what happened in any of these previous ones.
Yeah.
I also realized my lighting, if you watch the video version, is really different because the sun is gone, because daylight savings.
Yeah, it's dark out there. I'm slightly less aglow. But
no, I agree. Like, my expectations for this were low, and it at least met those expectations, and at some points I did laugh a little bit more often. But overall, as a movie, yeah, it at least kept its focus and didn't keep skipping around, and it felt like there was a thought out beginning and end, and it was just kind of, well, the end was kind of weak, but they at least thought out more of the movie than the other ones.
It felt like the writer, I already left the IMDb, so I can't bring it up, but the writer of this learned from the first Sharktopus and then like fixed, or at least tightened up a lot of the things. But like in the end, when this comes out, it's the week of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is in a couple days. And,
if you're in the U.S.
And yes, in the U.S. And I will say, after watching this whole series, one thing I'm thankful for is to remember that there will always be an audience for whatever you want to make. There will always be somebody that will give you a chance.
You don't always have to make things that everyone will love or everyone will appreciate. But if you had fun making it, there will be people that want to watch it.
It's about the fun along the way. So anyway, let's talk about something we're really thankful for, because it's Christmas time.
Soon. Depending on your opinion. Have I started pulling out some of my Christmas decorations very early? Yes, but more so just to plan. I haven't hung anything.
I was talking more of the future in 3 weeks, not the future now.
No, some people don't some people are like, oh, Thanksgiving's over, it's Christmas. Some people are like, it's not Christmas till December.
Oh yeah,
kind of.
It's not Christmas until I go out and actually have to buy a gift a week of Christmas. Nah, that's not true. I like planning, big surprise, but it's just I've been asking my brother, just hey, would you would like to get help with for the niece? Mm-hmm. But that is neither here nor there, because I think we have a pretty fun setup, a fun idea for this holiday season.
Yeah, we went back and forth a bit because we were like, what do we do? Because Rankin Bass last year was a lot of fun and it's very holiday centric. So we went the opposite direction almost.
What did we do for the first? Candy canes. Yeah,
candy canes.
We did candy canes. Oh man, that is still one of my favorite of the old old style of Pointless Discourse. But so we did that last year. We did mainly because we were in movie bracket mode, and then burnt ourselves out by doing 2 big movie brackets in a row, and we haven't done a movie bracket since. But it did lead the way to what we do now, which is fun. You
gotta live and learn a little before you figure out something that works.
But at the same time, I want to. Oh, Hops heard me say this. I want another Halloween movie bracket. I don't care if we do it in the middle of January. But we already have plans for January. Whoa. But anyway, so for this upcoming Christmas season, we are pretty much trying to solve the age-old question: is it really a Christmas movie, or is it just something that we think we watch around Christmas time? The working title is still being worked. We have 3 weeks, but honestly we have a week because that's when we keep recording. But anyway, is it a Christmas movie? And that's what we're doing. And we have a whole list. Do we want to just share the list up at the get-go?
No, I think for now we'll leave it up in the air and say, if you would like to take your guesses at what movies you think we consider not Christmas movies, that we're gonna we came up with a little scale of how Christmassy is this not Christmas movie for us to rank it on. And we have 5 movies. We can say the first one because that'll be next week's episode. Mm-hmm. So the first one will be The Green Knight. This is also just an excuse for us to finally watch this because A24 film and Itisdpayne has read the original story, so he's wanted to watch this anyway.
Yes.
Then I
can't wait to find out what eldritch horror they bring into this that wasn't in the original story that is going to make them cut off their heads and run into telephone poles.
So then we have 4 other movies. Feel free to put in your guesses at twitter.com/pointlessdisco. I guess if we're still using Twitter. If Twitter's still around, the time this releases.
Well, we'll let you guys know.
Comment on our YouTube video at youtube.com/ we never claimed that handle, did we?
Yeah, no, we probably should do that.
Well, anyway, you can find us. We have links in the description below.
That's probably also something we should put a link to. Anyway, we're getting there. It's been busy, okay?
Busy people. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening and watching. I just realized what time it is.
Yeah. And I gotta go feed the dog in about 20 minutes. So, bye-bye!